We are going live on YouTube now.
All right, we are live on YouTube. Bonjour, bonjour. So let me think here. I'm just preparing my presentation. All right. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Preparing my presentation. All right. Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, so I'm going to share my. Do you see my screen? Sharing my presentation.
Yes, beautiful. I think we've got.
Well, I have a feedback coming from you. It's kind of weird. Okay. So just so you know, Mike, just a little heads up. I'm alone in the house, and I'm waiting. I just bought an amazing printer for B&H. So I might need to just go away for a minute while the webinar is going, just to get my new printer. When I was at Photoshop World, Scott Calby got me into printing big time, and the importance to give some of your best prints to people you like, to people who give you authorization to shoot there. He told an amazing story about that. It got really inspired, so I bought a printer. I got a really cool Epson printer, and it might be that I just might need to walk out for a minute or not to get my new printer.
And if you do, I'm going to pull the guitar off the wall and we're just going to jam out for everyone.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, I'm going to get started here. This is how to be a successful photographer without expensive gear, formal education, and years of practice. That's the whole idea of this webinar. Okay, all right. So how to be a successful photographer without expensive gears, formal education, and years of practice. Now, if you stay until the end, you're going to get a free bonus. And that is some of my best skies with tutorials on how to do sky replacement for free. Some of my best textures, you can put it with your landscape or your portrait with tutorials on how to use it for free. Some of my best signature presets, over 50 free presets for free with tutorials on how to use them. And my famous weather brush with tutorials on how to use them. All that is free because you stay till the end. My goal is to help two types of people: the amateur that wants to become pro and make a living out of photography. So if your dream is like me to be a photographer, I spent my whole life being a salesman or a coder, and now I've been making a great living as a photographer for almost 10 years now. If you want to have that kind of life, this is for you. You have to stick around. Or if if you just want to, if you don't care about money, I've had a guy who owns 5 restaurants in New York, the Smith restaurants. Amazing guy, amazing photographer. The restaurant makes $100 million a year. He does not need photography for money, but he wants his photos to be in galleries. He wants to get published. He wants to take the best possible photos, to exchange. And that's his contribution of sharing. So if you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you just want to get better with your photography and you don't care about the money aspect, this is for you, okay? Don't forget, if you stay until the end, I have a free bonus that you can put into action immediately. Right away, it's going to improve your photography, and it's all free. Okay, I want to talk to you about gears, guys. 90% of the question people ask me is about gear. What do you think of the Nikon D850? Should I shift to the Sony A7R3? Should I go mirrorless? I get all that. Gear is important, but gear is not everything. I'll tell you a story. If you watched this webinar before, you know the story. If you've not, well, here it is. A lot of time I help charity with my photo. Like I donate my photos for charity. And so the story is about a guy who donated his photos to raise money for kids in New York. Big event, he's got his photos everywhere. They brought in a celebrity chef, amazing food. Everybody's really happy. And the hostess of the event comes to the photographer and says, "Oh my gosh, your photography is amazing. You must have a great camera." And the photographer smiles, looks at her, and he's eating his amazing celebrity chef food and says, "Oh my gosh, your food is amazing. You must have a great oven." And that's really what I think about gear. I'll tell you a story. About 3 months ago, my publisher asked me to go to Beverly Hills to take a photo of the Beverly Hills street. They're very famous because you get the very high palm trees, but they're very famous because There is no cars. It's beautiful, beautiful houses. There's no cars. It always makes great photos. And, it's been used in many iconic movies. So I went there and I shot with my Sony A7R III. I shot with my iPhone 10. I went home. I retouched everything, the iPhone photos and the Sony photos. You know what? At the end of the day, my favorite from far was an iPhone 10 photo over my Sony A7R III. Knowing the basic principle of photography in post-processing is the fastest way to be a great photographer, and it's a lot more simple than you think. I did a workshop with 26 photographers 2 weeks ago in Florida, in Orlando, as part of Photoshop World. And I'm not kidding you. There was a lady, actually several ladies came to me. They had the Sony A7R III with G Master Lens. You're talking $7,000 of gears they had in their hands. And they did not really know what aperture was. They didn't know really what shutter speed was. They didn't know how to, how to get a sharp photo by hand, how to get a sharp photo by tripod. They didn't know that, but they had $7,000 of gear in their hand. And knowing the basic principle of photography and post-processing is the fastest way to be a great photographer. And it's a lot more simple than you think. You see, I went from 0 to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube now. I'm an official speaker for Adobe. I speak for Adobe at different events, Photo Expo in New York, Photoshop World in Vegas and Orlando. I've published 4, I need to update this, 3 coffee table books. But, mesdames et messieurs, my Los Angeles book came out last week. I'm so happy with it. Because it's also the first book where I got a chance to verify the prints before they went to printers. I mean, they printed the book. And, when you print something, it's always too dark because you don't have the screen lighting your photo. So in my Venice book, 20 photos were too dark to my taste. Scott Calby told me it was not an issue for him. But the Los Angeles one is the best one I've done so far. And it just came out. And that's one of the photos I was talking about. So that's a Sony A7R III. My iPhone 10 photo is even better than that. I did not use it for the book because it's an iPhone photo and the level of noise is not the best. This one was kind of smoother, but the light was better. I'm not kidding you. Anyways, I've also published 15 technical books. I've been published in over 400 magazines, including twice in National Geographics. And my work is into the 85 galleries around the world, including in Vegas, in the Tony Carnival Gallery, but mainly in the amazing Yellow Corner network. Now, if you don't know what Yellow Corner is, let me tell you this right away. It is the biggest art network in the world. They are the people saying the most fine art photography in the world as we speak. They have 85 galleries spread all over the world. They sell the photo maximum to $1,000. So they try, it goes from $79 to $1,000. They have 240 salesmen, and they are the highest force on this planet selling photos right now. And I've been working with them for 4 years, and they just took a decision. About a week ago, which was they wanted for every gallery where there is a gallery, they have a photo of that city. So, for example, they just opened Chicago. They want to have a great photo of Chicago. They just opened one in Laguna Beach. They want one of Laguna Beach. They just opened in Amiens. So right now they want to do mostly France and Germany, but I will be the one curating the content for them, meaning I can get you into these galleries, but I will prioritize people which are part of my inner circle. And Mike and I will explain you how to get there at the end of this webinar. So if you ever wanted to be in a gallery, stick around. Okay, Yellow Corner, big galleries. I got black and white, I got color. So, I make great money with photography, a lot more than I ever did as a salesman. But before 2004, I had never taken a photo in my life. I want to tell you a little bit my life story very fast so you see where I'm coming from. When I was a kid, at 14 years old, something happened that changed my life forever, and that is The Return of the Jedi. I saw this movie, and it just blew my mind. I came out of the movie, I went to theater 3 times. It was the only time I ever went 3 times in the same week to see the same movie. I was blown away. Everybody in my school was talking about it. And I said, man, I don't know who this is, Monsieur Lucas, George Lucas, who this guy is, but he created an art piece that changed the world. And I said, I want to do something like him. I want to be an artist. I don't know if I'm going to be like a, a director of photography, a photographer, a director, an actor. I wanted my life to be artistic because I couldn't believe the impact this had on my life and on the life of others. But, life went on and I sort of forgot that dream. And I got into, very early on, at the age of 17, I got into coding. I started learning, assembly calling, basic. I started coded on the Atari 520 ST. Anyways, if you are 40 and above, you maybe know what that is. And I got into the first personal computer, and I became a dad very young. And by the way, mesdames et messieurs, today is my daughter's birthday. I don't know if she's watching. She's in Paris. Marine's birthday. The sunshine of my life is her birthday.
Happy birthday, Marine!
So I don't know if she's watching, but if she is.
You're not going to sing for her today? Or we'll do that over the phone later?
I actually recorded a video where I sang on the guitar Happy Birthday, and I sent it to her at midnight and 1 minute because I wanted to be the first person to tell her birthday.
Oh,
that's how much I'm a good dad. Anyway, I love my daughter so much. She's my best friend, and she's also my assistant. She's my comedy manager. Anyways, so I got into sales. I married my current wife, which I've been in full love for 18 years, and she had 3 young boys. So I went from 1 kid, Marine, to 4 kids very fast. And, in my 30s, so I was raising 4 kids. And so I was, into sales most of the time. But, as soon as I started making good money, I became the VP sales of a web agency. And I was making great money, bought a big house for the 4 kids, had 2 dogs. But, this kid that was in me that loved the Return of the Jedi was like, oh my God, you're going to spend your entire life being a salesman and you're going to arrive at the age of 60 and it's been time for retirement and you're going to I never did it, because I had to provide. But in 2004, when I was 34 years old, so I've been in sales now for 10 years, with my wife, we went to Guadalupe. And here is me in 2004 with my best friend, Calvin Pimont. And he said, have you heard about Photoshop? He says, no, I heard the name, but what is it? So we took this photo of this girl who's a very good looking friend that we had with us. And he says, look, I'm going to erase the tourist behind her. I'm going to make the clouds, very nice. I'm going to make her skin more brown. And he did this in 2 minutes. And it changed my life. I said, what is Photoshop? And I realized that, because I just took the photo, that one camera and one software, whatever I was doing in life, at least I could do something artistic. At that time in 2004, I actually wanted to get back into acting. I got back into acting lessons. I started making short movies. But back in 2004, the DSLR did not give you the opportunity to make videos. So you need to really have, to have nice videos, you need to buy big cameras. So I was trying to make short movies at the time. And when he showed me Photoshop, it was a revelation. I was like, oh my gosh, Photoshop plus a camera, I can at least create. So here I am. I'm the VP sales of a very successful web agency. And I said, okay, I'm going to put art in my life. So I went back home and I started making lots of mistakes. I had no idea where the camera was. I couldn't get a sharp photos. It took me weeks and weeks. I remember I went to the first library I could get my hands on. I bought 10 books on Photoshop, on lighting, on photography. I did not understand any of it unless there's one person that was kind of good, that was very good actually, Scott Kelby. I could understand his books. And through Scott, I figured out how to get a sharp photo. So I remember I went on a mission to shoot Paris by Night. I decided, okay, I'm going to take Paris by Night. I went around 8 o'clock and I went all the way up to 2 o'clock in the morning. Once I figured out how I could, get a sharp photo at night. And this is my first photo shoot that I got of Paris by Night. Please, guys, do not laugh. That's my first photo of the Louvre. That's my first photo of the Carousel, which is part of the Louvre. That's the whole Louvre building, Then I went and wandered around Paris by the Quai Seine, started doing panoramas. You can see they're very badly stitched. You can see the black lines between each slide. I went all the way up to Montmartre and shot, Montmartre by Night. And the next morning, I was so happy because in the agency that I was working with, we had 3 photographers, and one of them was the lead photographer, the main one we used to work with. So I went to see him and said, look, I got this amazing shots of Paris. And I start showing him, and I can see by his eyes that he doesn't like them. And I'm like, what's the matter? I'm like, I feel, you know, a little, you know, embarrassed, you know. And he says, yeah, but all you skies are black. And he starts showing me, he was a week before in Morocco, amazing golden hour, blue hour. You know, he says, you got to have something in the sky, sunset. And I'm like, okay. But, and then I tell him, but yeah, but if I had to get a sunset, I could have only taken one photo because then it got dark really fast. And he looked at me and says, welcome to the world of photography. And I was like, boom, it hit me, you know, light. I need to catch good moments of light. The problem, I did not know my camera well. I did not know how to get good light. So I went on a mission. I'm going to get a great sunset. And that's the first sunset I got in Paris. Woo! Really bad. I mean, okay, you see the sunset. The photo is super noisy. It's underexposed. The water has ripples. It's awful. It's awful. You know, that's my first golden hour. It's like, doesn't even look like a golden hour. Then I said, okay, maybe I'm going to try in the afternoon, you know. Anyways, I went on for months and months and months, and I was not happy with my photography at all. You know, I realized that learning is the key. You know, that's some of the books I had to study to be able to teach you photography. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I started putting on a routine, which was from 9 to 6. I was the VP salesman of a web agency in the nicest part of Paris. I was always by the Notre Dame, Saint-Germain-des-Prés, Opera, the Eiffel Tower, you know. So that was cool because that's where my customer base was. And then I had a scooter because it's really hard to get around in Paris. And I bought this little Gizmo tripod, and I had a Canon 5D. No, at the time it was Canon T2i. And I put this in my scooter, and I would look for clouds. And every time I would find a nice cloud formation, I would take a photo, you know. And then I would come home, have dinner with family, the 4 kids, put them to bed. And when they were in bed, instead of watching movies or TV shows, I would starting to watch tutorials, you know. And I had this rule that no matter what, I would watch at least 10 minutes of tutorials per day. And I tell you something, whatever, you know, one of the reasons people never, like, for example, right now I'm learning how to play guitar. And I'm really putting a discipline of at least doing 10 minutes per day. Most of the time it's half an hour per day because 10 minutes to half an hour. But I really feel now, you know, I've got the E chord, the E minor chord, the C chord, and the A minor chord done now, you know. And 10 minutes a day, and soon I'll be jamming with Michael. And anyways, whatever your passion is, you got to give it at least 10 minutes per day. The problem is that most of the people, they wait for like 3 hours, you know, one evening where the kids are not there, or next weekend I will be able to, you know, spend the entire weekend doing photos or learning piano, whatever you want to do. That's your hobby. And, you know, next thing you know, the weekend goes by and something else happens and you didn't do it. And now years, months has gone by and you've not worked on your hobby. I'll tell you a story on this. You know, the stepdad of my son, my youngest son got married, was the first one to get married at the age of 21 to a California girl here in Los Angeles. And his stepdad became an amazing friend. He's the CEO of a pretty large construction company. In fact, as we speak right now, he's in Bryce Canyon on a huge construction job. But, you know, he said to me, he says, you know, he's 62 years old. He says, honestly, I kind of, you know, fucked up my life because I always wanted to be a writer. And, you know, I wrote books. I wrote 2 books when I was in my 20s and didn't find a way to get them published. So then I went into construction, and I've been doing construction for 40 years. And, but, you know, he felt he really, you know, really missed something in his life. Then he told me this amazing story that happened to him when he was 16 years old. And I said, oh my God, this would make a great movie. I said, you should write a script. So because I'm a little bit in the movie business, I showed him how to write a script. And he started writing the script. 6 months goes by and I'm having dinner with him. He says, oh, how is the script coming up? And he said, yeah, you know, I don't have the time. You know, I always want to spend, you know, 3 hours, you know, on the script, but something happened in the company. I never get to write. And I was like, okay. And then I told him the trick I'm telling you now. Give it 10 minutes per day. I said to him, do you have 10 minutes? He said, sure, everybody's got 10 minutes. Okay, good. So bring your laptop at work or use your laptop, use Final Draft, which is the software to write, or Celtics, actually, the software he was using, and give it at least 10 minutes per day to write your story. I am not kidding you. A week later, he calls me and says, I'm done with the script. I said, why? He says, yeah, I did your trick of 10 minutes per day. 10 minutes turned into a half an hour, but in 7 days, I was done with the script. I read it, and you know what? It might even be my first movie as a director. So whatever you want to do in life, whether it's photography, music, hobby, whatever you think your heart goes to, give it at least 10 minutes per day. That's the moral of the story. You know, after 2 years of spinning my wheel, I discovered that there's only a few basic words and concepts that you need to understand to use a camera well. I couldn't believe this girl that I met, you know, who had $7,000 worth of gears and did not know what aperture really was. You know, light is the most important element of photography. There are simple methods to get great composition, and there are simple methods, strategies to getting noticed on social media. Today, guys, I'm going to review 3 secrets, and I'm not kidding, that will give you an unfair competitive advantage. You know, but first, let's talk about the myth number 1, which is that if you don't have a unique environment, you cannot take beautiful photographs. That's so wrong. You know, shooting at the right time of the day and knowing the exact camera setting to use is far more important than traveling to a beautiful location. The word photography itself means, you know, comes from the Greek photos and the Greek graphe, which means drawing with light. So nicer is your light, nicer is going to be your drawing. You know, this is a photo that I shot in a, you know, in a wheat field in France, and I got a lot of attraction for it. And it's a boring photo, but it's got a great light, so I still got attraction from it. This is even worse. I shot this in the north of France in the winter in the most ugly countryside of all times. Very flat. You know, a countryside is not nice when it's flat. It was flat. It was muddy. There was no leaf on a tree. But this amazing horse came along, and all of a sudden, I got this incredible golden hour. You know, a golden hour is when the sun is coming down. It's an hour before sunset, and there's a very specific golden hour that's amazing. That's the one where you've got clouds above you and no clouds in front of you. Well, that was the case because when the sun starts coming under the clouds, then the rays starts making everything red. I made 2 magazine cover guys with this photo, got at least 20,000 people to follow me. If there would not be that golden hour, that photo would not even exist. So light, light, light. This is a sunset that I shot. You know, it's of a lavender field with no lavender, you know, which nobody does normally. But it's a cool photo, and I got attraction for it because, you know, it's got a great sunset. Even worse, about a month ago, one of my students, Tim Shield, contacted me. I've never met him. Somebody who studied my tutorial says, oh, I'm in LA, and I just figured out a way how to go behind the Hollywood sign. And because the normal way to go about the Hollywood sign was shut down by the Rangers. And now it's like, you got to be Indiana Jones to get up there. I'm not kidding. Like, if you don't have the exact map, it's a labyrinth. It's really funny because it's like almost you have to go through people's houses, and it's really hard. Anyway, so I went on a hike with him, and that's how it looked when we arrived. Okay, we stayed up till the night, and that's the photo I got at the end. Okay, that's the good light photo. That's the bad light photo. Okay, now it happened that the state of California, a week later, was doing a contest. They were looking for a new iconic photo of Los Angeles to represent California in the world of movie making. I submitted the photo and won first place. And so I have the honor and pleasure to tell you that this photo will now represent movie making in Hollywood officially by the state of California. So bad light, good light. Same idea. I shot this, you know, for a friend in Florida, and, you know, I really wanted to get the good golden hour to get the shot, you know. So light, 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 guys. Now, I have a very specific training that I want to propose you with working with me. And I have a photographer who did it. His name is Rick Walter. And he decided to do a book of Chicago, but Rick doesn't know that yet. But I'm going to get some of his photos in Yellow Corner because Yellow Corner just opened a gallery in Chicago. And he has some really cool photos of Chicago that he shot. But you see, he only shot Chicago at the right moment. Even if it's black and white, it was amazing moments of lights, you know. He came to Paris with me. We did a workshop, and that's a photo he got from the workshop. You know, I loved how the Eiffel Tower lights up the moon, you know. And so light, light, light. You will see a lot of people have been sending me photos today that I'm going to reshoot live at the end of this webinar. And I've not watched a photo, but I can guarantee you that I'm sure half of them, if not 80% of them, were photos not at sunset, not at sunrise, not at golden hour. That's why it's a secret. And that's why I just don't even take my camera out if there's not a good light. I only shoot, I have this app called Soul. It's an amazing app. It's the app that tells me when I have to work. Okay, you can find, I think it only exists for iPhone though. And Soul, okay, that's the app. And basically what it does is it tells you, when is the golden hour? For example, today the golden hour is from 7:09 to 8:07, and then the sunset is from 8:07 to 8:36. And then you still have a clear sky till 9 o'clock. That means today I'm going to be working from 7 o'clock to 9:12. So 2 hours and 12 minutes of good light. And that's it. You see, I was saying that no matter what beautiful landscape you see, 99% of the time it's going to look better at sunset or at sunrise. Okay, now myth number 2. And this one I think is really not nice. And I hear that with people, and it's so much not true. I hear it in acting school. I hear it in college. I hear it everywhere because I do a lot of teaching in universities, in photo clubs. And it says you must be born with the great eyes and spend years of practicing in order to get beautiful composition. It's like, when I was an actor, people were saying you were either born with talent, you were not born with talent. Will Smith used to say, I don't believe in talent, I believe in hard work. And I believe that too. But in photography, it's even more simple than that. There's only like 5 basic principles to know about composition that will make your photo look completely professional. For example, this photo, the rule number 1 is the rule of third, or I call it dead center. Don't center your subject. Put it on the left side or on the right side. You see how I got this lamp to be exactly on the right side? You have to imagine 2 lines, splitting your photo in thirds, top to bottom, left to right. And that's going to give you 4, you see the 4 blue points is what we call the golden points, okay? This golden points is where you put the most interesting elements. Now, it doesn't have to be precisely mathematical. For example, this photo, as long as you don't center your subject, this photography would not look as nice if the photographer was, in the center. So he's on the side, but if I put a grid over it, you can see that I move my entire rule of third grid to the right. So as long as you don't center your subject, you're good. It puts more dynamic to it. I think one of the trademark of amateurs is centering the subject. For example, you take a landscape, like this, you make sure you got about 2/3 of the city and only 1/3 of sky, and if you put a grid over it, that's how it looks. You see Notre Dame is exactly on one of the grid. Now, the second rule that is very important is the leading lines. You see, the problem in photography is that everything is 2D when we live in a 3D world, even 4D with perception. So having, if you have like lines like this, it's going to help to give dimension to your photo. So rule number 1, don't center your subject. Rule of third. Rule number 2, leading lines. Rule number 3, frame in the frame. You see, I remember seeing this photo when I was a kid. It was used by the movie poster. I think it Once Upon a Time in America with Robert De Niro. They used that movie poster. And then Guillaume Canet did another movie where a French guy where he used that poster. It was a very famous movie in France. And I was like, the first time I came to New York, I went to Brooklyn and looked for that shot, and I got the shot. And it's one of my best-selling photo in gallery, by the way. I got really lucky. It was raining, so there was no one there. And, I got some kind of cool lights. I applied one of my signature preset to it. And boom, I sold thousands of that photo in galleries. I'm not kidding. And look at this photo. Frame. You see the frame in the frame? You see how I use the tunnel to frame the whole thing? So that's kind of optional. Framing the frame is it's just a trick that makes photo interesting. The other rule that I think is really interesting is the foreground, middle ground, background. If you come to Paris and you see the Eiffel Tower and you get a great sunset, you see thousands of people taking photos with their iPhone, with their camera. what you're going to put as your foreground element is what's going to make a great photo compared to all the rest. So foreground, middle ground, background. Now, the most important rule of all, that's only 4 rules. So I repeat, rule of third, leading line, frame to frame, foreground, middle ground, background. Rule number 5, and most important of all, is the definition itself of composition. Composition is the arrangement of the elements to tell a story. All what you're trying to do is tell a story. So when I take a photo, I always look at what is the story that I want to tell. You know, should I move my camera a little bit to the right or to the left? Is it going to help telling that story? You know, if I had like 3 tourists coming by smoking a cigarette, it would not tell the same story. You know, I want to show you the work of a photographer who's actually might be watching this right now. Swapan Jai, he's from Boston, and amazing photographer. And I love some of his composition. Look at this photo of the Taj Mahal. I love the frame in the frame. I love the message of this photo. The Washington Monuments, I love how he framed the whole, you know, this sort of little lake, I don't know how you call it, and the monument. It's just like perfection of composition. He actually did a book on Boston, and this is some of his work also in Yosemite. Look at the leading lines getting into, you know, the El Capitan and the Half Dome. The tree here on the left side is a great foreground element. All the rocks is a great foreground element. Half Dome and Half Capitan is the middle ground. The light is beautiful. It's a perfection of photo, you know. Now, Tim Shield wrote me this incredible message. You know, he says, here is my successor. He says, I cannot even begin to tell you how much the online training from Search Germany has helped me with my entire photography process, from composition and camera settings to post-processing and printing. Now, Tim is part of my inner circle, which I will talk to you about later on. If you want to move forward in your photography and go from good to great, you need to take the training from Search. He's the real deal. Well, thank you, Tim. You are the real deal too. Check out some of the work that Tim is doing. You know, he's actually he's starting to do tutorials online. You should look for this guy. He's really good. You know, he was telling me he didn't take this photo. He made this photo. You know, you know, it's got like leading lines. It's got a very simple message, but it's telling a story. You know, this is a beautiful photo of the Rocky Mountains with like leading lines, you know, foreground with the lake, middle ground with the mountains, you know, beautiful light. Look at this photo of Paris, you know, look at this leading lines to the Eiffel Tower, you know, amazing. Look at this photo of Death Valley, you know, with the leading lines, you know. I'm so proud when I can help get somebody to take so good photos like this. You know, if I can make you take great photos like this, I'll be so proud. Anyway, last secret and last myth. Myth number 3, using post-processing and preset is cheating. The right Lightroom preset will do 80% of your retouching for you if you know how to use them. You know, I didn't use preset for years, and that was a big mistake. You know how I realized this? And let me tell you this story. So when I did my Venice book, I thought I had 3 months to give all the photo to my publisher. Turns out I had a week. And so, but the problem is that I have 3,000 raw files that I've taken over, you know, that I've shot in Venice. I had to go through to come up with 90 photos that could end up in the book. But sometimes you cannot tell if a raw file is going to be good enough unless you retouch it a little bit. You know, a raw file, the definition is raw. There is no color, there is no contrast, there's no sharpening, there is no, you know, usually the white balance is off. So, you know, what I did is I started, you know, opening up the shadows to see what was going on in the photo, bring down the highlights, do a black point, a white point, bit of contrast, and the white balance, finding the right balance. And then I'm looking at the photo, I'm like, nah, not good enough. It's not going to end up in the book, you know. And then I was doing that over, you know, open up the shadows, bring down the highlights, doing the black and the whites, and doing the white balance every time. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm wasting all this time. I could make presets. So I started doing my signature preset, where I did like 5 signature preset for golden hour, 5 for sunset, 5 for daylight, etc., etc., etc. And in this way, I can just go through my preset. And now it's even better with the new Lightroom 7.3, because when you hover the preset, you can see them in real time, which you didn't have before. And you can get a sense whether the photo has potential or not. You know, and if you still feel bad about retouching your photo, let me introduce to you to the world-renowned best photographer, most iconic, legendary photographer of all time, Ansel Adams. Now, this is one of his most famous photos. It's called Moon over Hernandez, New Mexico. And it was a huge hit back in the day because the sky was black. It was a huge print and the moon was white. But this is the original negative, and that's the retouch version. And how did he do it? Well, let me introduce you to Ansel Adams' son, showing his workflow. So what they used to do back in the day is called dodge and burn. The idea is you have a negative and you project light through it, and the light reverse it on a paper, and it prints the paper, it burns the paper, a positive paper. And the longer you project the light through the negative onto the paper, more you burn the paper and more you get a contrasty dark photo. Now, what if you want to get, like Ansel, a dark sky and a brighter cloud? Well, he built this machine to, instead of having one light bulb, he had 50 light bulbs, and he could like burn the sky and turn off some of the lights around the clouds, for example, to make it brighter, so they would become brighter and burn more the paper. But if you wanted to make a part of the photo, like the moon, a little bit brighter, he would use a dodge tool. He would dodge the light like this sort of little spoon, and so the light would not project on the moon and just make it brighter. Funny thing is, you can see Ansel Adams' son holding the dodge tool in his hand, and on the bottom right, you can see the dodge tool in Photoshop looks exactly the same. I wonder what the the designer who created Photoshop were inspired, for the dodge tool from Ansel Adams dodge tool. Anyways, the right Lightroom preset will do 80% of your retouching for you. If Ansel Adams knew about Lightroom presets, he would be a customer, believe me. All my Venice book I did using Lightroom presets. It also gives you a little base, because you can tweak the preset to your liking and have a style. Now, the preset will not do everything. It'll do 80% of the job for you. You still have the last 20% to give the exact exposure, the exact degree of sharpening, the exact color that you want. Now, I want to talk to you about Hannes Koning. He's one of my other students. So Hannes has amazing photo of Strasbourg, which I'm going to make sure end up in the Yellow Corner Gallery, because he's part of my personal academy, which I'll talk to you about later on. So Hannes does a lot of retouching to his photos, but I love his work. Look at this photo. I think it's brilliant. Look at this other photo with this, it's just amazing. We shot this photo together in Venice. It's a 7-panel photo of the San Marco Plaza at sunrise. He changed the sky. Oh my gosh, it's one of the nicest photos of Venice I ever saw. This is Berlin again. This is a lavender field, at the right time with a great sunset. Sometimes his photos are a little too saturated for me, but sometimes he goes, very unsaturated also, Anyways, you get a little bit the idea. So I want to show you a little video of 3 minutes that's going to recap everything. Stick around. I've got an amazing proposal to you right after that. But watch these 10 tips. It's going to recap everything. And voila. So it's a good recap of what we covered. Now, a couple of case studies. Justin sent me this email saying that, I just got hired for photographing real estate properties, and because one thing I love to do in my inner circle is help you have, your first job as photographer. Thank you for the help and inspiration. I've learned so much from your tools, and I wouldn't be here where I am today without your courses. My biggest satisfaction in life is help you do what you love in life. Someone said, if you do what you love in life, then you never have to work again. And I believe that's true. I've been working honestly a lot through my whole 20s and 30s as a coder, as a salesman. And in my 40s, I've been a photographer, and I don't feel like I'm working. I feel I've been on holidays for 7 years, and I'm making more money than ever. Sahid says, I'm writing thank you. I bought one of your preset bundle yesterday, despite me being skeptical when it comes to preset. I want to learn on my own, but the result I achieved in one of my recent sunset pictures where I was sunning using the presets. Now, I want to talk to you about a deal that that you can only get right now. And that is the PhotoSearch Complete Signature Pack. If you already got my complete pack, it's not the same thing at all. What it is three things. First, it's all my best training for the last 7 years, including the Adobe Lightroom Masterclass, including this morning, we decided we have a new logo course where we're giving you 150 logos, 150 logos, for free, and you can just adapt it to you. That's going to be included this morning. We're going to give you, Lightroom is the software that changed my life as a photographer. Just to tell you a story, before I met Lightroom, I used to open up every single photo. First, I used to shoot in AV mode. So every photo that I had a different shutter speed. And then I have to retouch every single one of them in Photoshop and Camera Raw. Now I shoot in manual mode. I only change my shutter speed when the light changes. So most of my photos have the same settings, except when the light changes. And then I use one of my signature preset on one photo. I synchronize on the next 10. And the average time that I spend in front of the computer per photos is 5 seconds. And my photo look better than ever. So I'm going to give you the Lightroom Masterclass because you need to master Lightroom really well. And I'm going to give you 280 presets, including my natural preset that I've talked to you about, the one, for golden hour, 4 times a day. I'm going to give you my special effect presets, black and white, Hollywood look, famous Instagram, HDR, Portrait Essential. Portrait Essential are presets which are kind of lighter, but are really great for portraits. I'm going to give you my wedding presets, with light, really some cool light effects. I'm going to give you all my film look presets. Film look is really based on old film, very popular on Instagram. I got this email a couple of weeks ago. It says, "Hello, Serge. Thank you very much for the discount on your preset for Lightroom. I have enclosed just an example of how it made my photo live again. This photo I had totally written off. After running a preset, it became one of my most liked photos on Instagram within hours. And this I just made to try out your preset. I'm very pleased with your work and that you're willing to share with the community. Have a nice day." Now remember, in a few minutes, I'm going to give you over 50 free presets, so stick around. Presets gives you a look. You can click on a preset and you're like, oh my gosh, this photo is actually good. I can actually do something with it, Okay, so I've given you my Lightroom class. I'm giving you my workflow course. It's a brand new course with all the latest update on Lightroom and Photoshop. So many stuff came out with the Creative Cloud. It's all covered here. I include also how to work with Aurora and Luminar in my workflow course. Then, if you ever wanted to master Photoshop and you've done it, you got to check my Photoshop for Photographer course. Okay, this is some of the before and after. I go into skin retouching, Camera Raw, how to erase anything. 66 video, 21 project, 8 hours of course. By the end of Photoshop Photographer, you will be a master at Photoshop. Then once you master Lightroom in Photoshop, which is like the bare minimum for a photographer, we go and look at composition first, CDs with the CD Masterclass, and then the Landscape Masterclass, where I'm going to show you in New Zealand how I frame the photo through my lens. Also in Florida, back to New Zealand. Then we get into some more specialized courses. HDR. HDR is big. You know, you're shooting the Mont Saint Michel by night. Hard to get without HDR. You're shooting the sunrise, you know, through Leaf in Queenstown, New Zealand. Hard to get without HDR. Sky replacement. You know, every once in a while I replace the sky. For example, this time I walked up 200 stairs to get this beautiful view of Paris, and most boring sky ever. I added some clouds. Next thing you know, it's one of my best-selling photos in gallery. You know, crazy. Art of Black and White. I did the 2 books in black and white. I'll show you the entire Ansel Adams workflow, how to get great black and white portraits, everything. Now we come to the part I like the most, a mixture between portrait and landscape. I call it environmental portrait, where I have a $200 flash setup where I take, you know, somebody and I flash him with my camera on tripod. Then everybody moves out. Then I take an HDR and I mix all 4 exposure to get amazing portrait that will resonate in time. You know, portrait like this. Now comes interior design photography bundle. You know, I was in interior design photography. I started with that before I became a fine art photographer. And it's a great way to start making money. It's an 8 hours course, all about interior design. Then we have a very fast course on non-exposure workflow. Then, you know, remember I told you in 2004, Calvin is the one that showed me Photoshop. He's a master at Photoshop and still teaches me Photoshop every day. He's had an agency for 20 years using Photoshop. And so I asked him to do a course that'll take you knowledge from Photoshop for photographer on upward. And that's Photoshop 101. You know, you'll know everything there is to know about, you know, taking different elements and putting them into a landscape. Time-lapse masterclass course. Now, time-lapse is becoming very popular, and I team up with Emeric Lebar, who is an amazing time-lapser, to do this course, including how to do Holy Grail time-lapse, which is time-lapse like this one, where you start at golden hour and you go all the way. You stay like 3 hours into the night. You have to change your camera settings as you go. You have to use a special software to be able to get this time lapse. But if you're into wedding photography, into you know, commercials, or into real estate, being able to do time lapse is really big. Next, we have masking and extraction class, a very short course, but Calvin's going to reveal you a very confidential workflow where you can extract anybody, no matter how crazy their hair is, and put him onto another photo. The last course is Photoshop workflow, which is this cool project where I shot the photo and then Calvin added the tiger and the snow and the footstep and the shadows and everything. You know, by the end of this course, you'll be a master at Photoshop, you can create anything. The last course is not a tutorial, it's a business class. You know, the question I get the most is how much should you charge for your photo? So I had this idea, I'm going to create 3 price lists that you can put your own logo on that has already all the price. One is a beginner, experience, and pro. And it's my suggestion of price that, you know, and it's got everything there. You know, for example, if an agency wants to, you know, a small real estate agency wants to use one of his picture, there's a price for that. A big agency wants to use pictures, a price for that. Interior design photography, weddings, portraits, senior portraits, it's all there. I spend months and months doing this. And the good thing is you can change your price, you can change your logo, it's professionally typeset. So at the end of the day, you get a PDF. Next time somebody asks you for a quote, you send that catalog to that person with your own logo on it. It's going to look so professional that's going to get you the sale right away. How to get your first customer. I actually showed you how I got on the phone my first customer, how you do cold calling to get into the real estate or the hotel business. What is the best way to deliver photos? You know, the right way to use social media. How did I go to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube? You know, how did I go to 60,000 subscribers on Instagram? How did I get to 140,000 on Facebook? You know, what about Google Plus and Flickr? How to make a living in photography? All right, guys. For the past hour, I think you would agree that it's been time well spent, and now it's time for you to get your bonus. So Michael here is going to give you the bonus.
Absolutely, guys. So if you are somebody who uses Facebook and you prefer to get your bonus via Facebook, we're going to give you not only the ability to grab all of these amazing presets, brushes, everything that's in this pack, you're going to be getting in Facebook, but you're also going to be getting tips and tricks directly from Serge as they're coming out, as Serge learns new things, as he's understanding new parts of the software that are being released. He's going to be sharing those things with you. So if you are a Facebook user, I'm going to be putting the link in here. So simply go to the chat window and you'll see Facebook free gift box. Click that link. It'll take you directly to Facebook Messenger, and then it's going to take you directly to get all of your free goodies. In addition, now you're connected with Serge on Facebook Messenger, and he's going to send you amazing tips and tricks consistently. And then we've got, if you're not a Facebook user and you're just somebody who wants to get all of this amazing stuff without going through Facebook, all you got to do is click the other link, free gift sign up. Simply click that link, and it'll take you to a page where you can then sign up to receive that via email. So really excited to for you guys to see this amazing gift box, and I really think you're going to love it. In addition to this amazing offer Serge is making today.
Yeah. So the gift, I repeat, the gift box is some of my skies, texture presets, and brushes with tutorials on how to use them. Anyways, I have a deal for you guys, which includes all my training I've done for 7 years, which is 25 course for $1,748. All my preset, which has a value of $135, and the 1-year membership to my private Facebook group. Now, total value of $3,542. Now, what is the Facebook Academy? That is like my inner circle, my best students. Once or twice a month, I do a challenge. I said, okay, let's take a photo of a sunset of the city, for example. People submit a photo. I try to comment every single photo, and I pick a winner, and the winner gets one of my books. But also people ask general questions like, what can I improve here? And I try to answer as much as I can. I answer over 100 comments a week on the Academy. But not only that, so as I've been telling you, I'm working with Yellow Corner, which is the biggest art gallery network in the world. And they asked me, because they know about this Academy, and they asked me basically to curate some of your photo to be sold in galleries. So the way it works is they want to have a couple of photos for every city they have a gallery in. So for example, they have a gallery in Chicago. They want 2-3 great photos from Chicago. And so, but I'm going to, the people I'm asking to provide a photo, I do it everywhere, but the people I prioritize is people which are part of this Academy. So, this is some of the winners of the contest of the last weeks. In fact, I have this afternoon, I'm going to pick up a new winner. And so, if you ever wanted to get into galleries, I'll do my best. If there's 85 cities, so it's a lot of cities, and if you come and you're part of my inner circle, I will prioritize your photo because I'm the one who decides for the gallery. Michael, do you want to say something on that?
That's awesome, Serge. Well, I just wanted to add to that. I mean, it's an extraordinary program. And Serge and I actually started working together a little over a year ago. And one of the things that I noticed the most about what Serge was he was trying to serve his community at such a high level. And he had so many people across social media, YouTube, his Facebook following. Everybody wanted a little piece of Serge. And he was driving himself crazy because he just didn't have time to deliver excuse me, to everybody at the highest level. So I said, Serge, what if we created some sort of community where people could have direct access to you, and they could get mentorship from you, and they could be surrounded by other people who are taking the same courses and who are really passionate about photography and who are learning from you? What would that mean for your inner circle? And Serge was super excited. And that was one of the most amazing things that we've been able to do, is really create this dynamic group of engaged photographers who are developing their skills and their passions and their talents every single day. And to see people grow, over days and weeks instead of years, to see the growth coming out of this inner circle program is just extraordinary. And I think it really solves 3 things. I think number 1, the entire package solves, you get everything you need to know, right? You don't have to run across all the internet to find all the answers. The entire course is laid out like an encyclopedia with 5 to 10 minute videos that you just follow along, and it's project based. So you're not just looking at sliders, you're following along and doing exactly what Serge is doing and learning. And it gives you simple language so you understand exactly what he's talking about. There's no big words. He's not trying to make you think he's super smart. He's there to teach and help you ascend into mastery as a photographer. And so you get the training, you get the knowledge, then you get the mentorship, which is working with Serge, being supported by Serge, and then you get the group. If you've ever heard the term a rising ship or a rising tide lifts all boats, this is that. It's an amazing opportunity. The inner circle is extraordinary, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of it and to be, and to watch the people grow as they're moving through this program.
Yes. So you're going to get all my presets, all my training, and the coaching. So all the training is a cost of $1,148 with the preset $135. The whole thing is $3,540. This is perfect for a beginner photographer or for amateur photographers or even an experienced photographer who want to go to the next level. Let me show you a couple of success stories. Sia just said, just wanted to give you some feedback on your landscape masterclass. I decided to reprocess some of my old photos using your workflow from the class. And not only I'm more happy with the result as I envisioned it, the reprocessed photo went into popular status within 9 to 30 minutes on 500px with a rating of mid to a high 80s, something I only achieved in 2 photos previously. 6 months versus 50 years. I followed your tutorials because I've learned more photography techniques and skill from you in the past 6 months than in my previous 50 years as an amateur. Merci bien, Tom. When I get that type of email, I'm blown away. Is this training worse for you? I've purchased your complete tutorial this week and I've gone through some of it. I just want to say how happy I am with your tutorials. And I still believe you've provided the best photography tools money can buy. Cheers, Freddie. So you're going to get all my tutorials, the best ones, all my presets and the private group. Also, for the first 25 people, we are going to throw in 2 bonus. One is a smartphone photography course, and the other one, it's not on there, but it's the logo course. So you're going to get all of that, $3,589 value. If all this did was to give you all the tools you need to be a successful photographer, do you think it'd be worth it to spend $3,000 to be a successful photographer? Help you have more fun and stop trying to chase down your questions all over the internet. Would it be worth it? Allow you to get noticed by your art, for your art by friends and family. Would it be worth it? What is mastery worth to you? $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $25,000? How much would you pay to get a complete toolkit produced in a simple language that can give you an edge in your art and business? You can see why others are paying up to $6,500 for my training and membership tools. You can see why it's a good deal at $3,626. But guys, this is a one-time only. This is only on this webinar. You can get all that for one payment of $299. Now, where can they get this offer, Michael? And this is going to go fast. We're only going to get 25 people. And also now you're going to get into, if you have photos where there's a yellow corner gallery, I'm going to prioritize your photo because you made the effort to be part of my inner circle.
Yeah, this is a tremendous opportunity. And again, this goes incredibly quickly. I just put the link in the chat window. So it says special $299. If you click that link, it will take you directly to the sales page. Again, you cannot find this anywhere else on Serge's website. Nowhere else on the internet are you going to find this deal to be able to get the entire training program, all of the academy, and that mentorship with Serge, not to mention the incredible business class, which is worth the $299 alone if you're even interested in turning this hobby, this amazing hobby, into something that you do consistently and make money from. People have taken this course and turned into professional photographers literally overnight. Well, I shouldn't say literally, but almost overnight.
It doesn't take weeks to get better. It takes days, So yeah, we're only going to take 25 people. Now, if you already bought stuff from me, I have a great news for you. Because the link that Mike is going to provide you, did you put it on YouTube everywhere? YouTube and
yes, it's on YouTube right now. And again, guys, it's only going to be up for 30 minutes. So I've got it on YouTube and I've got it here for 30 minutes. So those of you who are here in Zoom and on YouTube, you can go click it now. We're only taking 25 of you. So you need to act quickly.
Yeah, and you have to know that it's 30-day money guarantee. But also, if you log in on the link that he gave you, and if you already bought courses, it's going to give you an even lower price. Like, let's say you bought the complete pack already. Some people bought it for $400. You bought that already. Well, you're going to get for $229 the access to the Facebook group, the logo course, the workflow clues, the new Lightroom Masterclass, and you know, and being part of the inner circle for $229. So all you have to do is log in. Price should change based on what you bought. So you know, guys, you got two choices at this point. You know, do nothing and not take this leap of faith, which, as I said, is 30-day guarantee. It's 100% risk-free. Or you can make this small investment today compared to all the value you will get in return and just give it a shot. You know, if it works, great. If not, just ask for your money back and you will get it. Sign up today. And if you don't like it for any reason, I don't care if it's in 29 days, 23 hours, and 59 minutes, I will just, no question asked, give you your money back. So the real question is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? You know, which if it even does half of what I've claimed today on this webinar, pay $299 or even less if you've got some courses, it will pay for itself in either money earned or in being more happy in creating the photos you want to create. It's not even the price of the cheapest, lowest, crappy lens in the world. And you can get 7 years of my life, of my work, and be part of my inner circle. It's a great deal, guy. You know, it's a great deal.
Well, and I think it really speaks to your passion, Serge, for what you do. Nowhere else can you find a deal like this. Not to be able to work with somebody like Serge, not to be able to be in a part of a group that is literally improving, you know, in days, not months, and to get the level of training that you're offering here is just it's exceptional.
Yeah, thank you. So guys, we're only taking 25 people this morning. I want to see your photo. I want to help you get into galleries if you can make it. In fact, I'm looking also at hiring photographers that can tour around France and Germany, because I know I will not get all the CDs for Yellow Corner. They will be paid by Yellow Corner. So if you want to go on vacation, but you have to be good. You have to be at the level. So I need to see your photos first. I need to see what training you need to have to be at that level, because, you know, I'll only provide the best of the best photos to the gallery. Anyways, you know, other opportunities can cost you more in time wasted. With this, you get my complete training lineup now. And I've gotten thousands of emails from people who's bought my training, who told me it really helped them, you know, and it's not too bad, but it works. You know, I'm just trying to be practical here. And so we're only taking 25 people this morning, guys. I really want to see your stuff. You know, so the link is here. So with some people, Jonathan Witt just bought it. Shimi Kamineski just bought it, and she got it. She paid $239, or he paid. I'm sorry if it's a man, because you know he already had it complete. So this is going to go fast, guys. 25 people this morning. You're going to get all my training. You're going to get all my presets. You're going to get the access to my membership group. You know, my and the smartphone course, and this was not planned. I'm throwing this morning the new logo course. Amazing course. It took us 6 months to do, where you can make a logo. All this for $299, guys. You get, of course, a bonus. So, you know, if you don't sign up immediately, I get it. You're not sure, or you don't want to take a risk, or you don't have enough time. You know, I'm nothing special, but I got started with photography on a whim. I wanted to create art, and I was a struggling actor. You know, but by this technique that I will teach you in this training in Private Good, I have created a massive social following in business. I'm talking a lot this morning. You know, I honestly, I'm living the dream. You know, there was a survey that was done about 2 years ago in France, which was like, what is your favorite work? What is your dream work? And I'm not kidding. It was the Express, which is like a big newspaper in France. They surveyed 2,000 people, and the number one job people gave was photographer. Actor or singer was like number 7 or 8 or 9. I was convinced actor would be number 1, singer number 2, and you know, no, it was photographer. You know, and being able to get up in the morning and just saying, "Oh, I'm going to take photos." You know, if you want to get better at your photo, just for your own art or just to make money with photography, come into my inner circle. I want to see your photography. I want to coach you through my training. Get this bundle now. We're only taking 25 people this morning.
That's awesome. So got a couple questions here. Sean says, I bought your full bundle back in 2014, V37. Can I get a discount on the latest version? I think we covered that.
Yeah, all you have to do is click on the link and you're gonna pay $229. There's a whole bunch of new courses. There's a whole bunch of, if you bought it in 2014, you don't have the workflow course, you don't have the latest Photoshop course, you don't have the latest Lightroom course, you don't have the local course, you don't have a smartphone course, and you don't have the presets, and you don't have access to the Facebook group, and you can get all that for $229. All you have to do is click the link, log in, put in your password, and boom, you're in.
Awesome. Flo says, I recently purchased the complete signature pack and joined the Facebook group, but I don't see the logos in my course page. Can you help?
And she does not have the logo. She has the logo.
Maybe I think she purchased previously another point in the past.
Logo course. Well, okay. I usually don't do that, but Patrick is watching. All you have to do is write to support@PhotoSurge and explain your case. Normally, we only do it this morning, but since you are here and you're back again on this webinar, I will do it for you.
Wonderful. Artie says, promo code at checkout, full price showing on checkout. Artie, have you logged in to your PhotoSurge account? So have you gone to photosurge.com, logged into your account, and then click the link? That's okay. That's what you need to do, Artie. You need to go to photosurge.com, log in with your account, and then click the bit.ly link, and you'll be able to get your discount. But guys, you've got to move quickly. This is going to go quick. Will the presets work in Luminar or Aurora HDR?
No, but I have presets already in Luminar. No, they will not. The answer is no.
Yes, these are Lightroom presets, Surge signature Lightroom presets. Colin wants to know how he can apply for I believe he's talking about the gallery.
Yeah, well, first you have to be part of this webinar. You know, I'm going to prioritize people who take the effort to be part. So you have to buy this thing for $299, and then you have to submit your photos to me the email is press@photosurge.com. Press, Press, @photosurge.com. It's a special email for this Yellow Corner project. But first, make sure you send me photos where there's a Yellow Corner gallery and that it's not Paris and it's not New York, because I'm already covering that.
All right, so we got a few more questions. Do you want to work on that, or can you answer questions while you're doing that, Serge?
Yeah, sure.
All right, great. All right, Colin says thanks. Flo says you have to export the presets as LUTs. Is that a way to get past?
No. LUTs is a whole new thing. Has nothing to do with presets. LUT look at table, and it's a technology that's been forever in the world of video editing, and it just came to the world of Adobe Lightroom. To be honest, at first I did not understand what's the plus, and then I got in touch with Adobe, and they explained me why, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. I actually did a video yesterday on my YouTube channel. You should check it out, and I explained you what's the plus. And I'm coming out with my own profile bundle, which I've been spending weeks on, with a very professional software that works combined with my signature preset. It's a revolution. It's a complete revolution, because you can get effects like you can do infrared photography now in Lightroom. You can change. Let's say you take a photo and you want to turn all your leaf into the golden colors. You take like a green into orange. You couldn't do that before Lightroom. You had to go to Photoshop. Now you can do it in Lightroom. You will see. Just look at my video. Now, guys, what you see here is on screen is the raw file. I'm discovering them with you as we go. And remember, I talked to you about shooting in the white light. Look at this photo.
Hey, Serge, can you speak to something real quick? That what you just said brings up an important point. We had somebody early on in the webinar ask this question. They said, "I don't shoot in RAW. Can you sell me?" Or something like that. Like they were scared to shoot in RAW. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing you need to do is go RAW. If you don't shoot in RAW, you're missing something out, because you see, when you take a photo in JPEG, you let the camera decide the saturation, the white balance, the contrast, and the sharpening, okay? The problem with that is that it's going to be baked into the photo. So if you want to change the white balance after the fact, you cannot. If you want to get more details in the highlights, it's lost. So shooting RAW will give you more data in the highlights and the shadows, and will give you the ability to change your white balance as you want. If you shoot JPEG, it's just a lot harder. My preset work on JPEG photos, especially the black and white ones, but it's not the best. It's not the best. It's not the best. So you really got to learn to shoot RAW. The only time I would shoot JPEG is that if I would do sport photography, or sometimes some of the wedding photography, you know, when you have to take hundreds of photos and you don't have time to retouch everything, then what you can do is use profile on your camera to retouch the photo for you. For example, I use the landscape profile. So if by mistake I take a JPEG photo, it will be at least retouched with that profile, which is kind of okay, but doesn't do as a good job that if I would retouch the photo. Okay, guys, this is some of the photo I got this morning from people who's, you know, and remember I told you about light. Look how many photos were taken not in the right light. This was from last week, but like what? I cannot do anything with that. First, that's a JPEG, not a RAW file. And two, it's, you know, taken in a boring light. I could probably turn it into like a black and white photo with the magic of my preset, but I would never take a photo like this during the day. Never, ever, ever, you know, because you're not going to get a great photo. I mean, I'm going to try to make it like this, you know, cool black and white photo. But you see, all the halos I get here on, that's because it's a JPEG. I would not have that if it was a RAW file, you know. So again, guys, you know, you got to learn to shoot at the right time of the day. It's a nice place. I'm sure it's, you know, it's a cool little place. It has its charm, but I would never shoot it during the day, you know. Now that's cool. That's a cool photo. That's London, I believe. There's a lot of elements. You don't really have a full run image or anything. This one I already retouched from last week. Let's see what else. What do I have from this week? Let's see. Let me go to previews import. And
I think a couple more people may have uploaded during this presentation, Sarah.
Yeah, so let me see. I'm going to go to my folder library and I'm going to synchronize to see if some other people did that. Synchronize the folder. Yeah, there's 15 more photos there. That's crazy.
Yeah, Frank just asked. He said, "I don't see my photo in the listing. Do you have it up?"
Okay, I'm synchronizing.
So probably have it now. Which one is yours, Frank?
Oh my God, that's a nice one. I see a few good ones.
Jason wants to know, what about any cities in China? Heading there for 40 days on Monday. Do you have any suggestions?
I think they have some yellow corner galleries there. You got to check it out. Okay, so that's the latest 15 photos. So that's nice. That's somebody sending me a photo. It's already retouched. It's nice, but it's not printable. It's too much blurry shot. But I like the colors.
Yeah, I like colors.
Way underexposed. But maybe I can, it seems to be a nice subject. So maybe I can apply the magic. So what is that? That's a sunset. I'm going to apply my sunset lights. This one. Boom. Look at that. Okay. And then I'm going to do my black point. And I'm going to do my white point. Okay. And I'm going to move the sun, which is here. Maybe put it just outside like this. Not bad. You know, I mean, it's already better, but the subject is not, it's not the best. You really too underexpose that photo. Let me see. Oh, I love this one. Look at that. This is, it looks like from me, you know, because this is a shot of Venice from the Academy Average. Now check this out. I'm going to go into the same preset. And you see now when I hover, I don't even press. That's a new option in Lightroom 7.3. And I can see, so I can check, this is my sunset preset, and I can check my golden hour preset. See which one is going to work the best on this one. I think on this one, I'm going to go more for like a golden hour look, maybe. Golden hour, yeah, something like that. Look at that, one click. I'm going to add a bit of contrast. And so, you know, my preset works not just on my RAW file, they also work on other people's RAW file, you know. And on this one, I would, it's actually a great long exposure. This one is what, 124 seconds, 2 minutes of exposure. That's cool.
That's awesome. Sarah,
we have a few spots left, you know. If you
holy crap, Sarah, we just had a lot of people just came in. Do we have any spots left? I think we may, I don't know.
Yes, we have some spots left, but you got to act fast. We're only taking 25 people this morning. But this is, I don't know who took this photo, but it's a beautiful photo. You know what I would do on this one also? Because I would take this circle, I would make a circle here. I would invert it, feather it, and just add a bit of clarity and light here, just to make this part more interesting. I love this photo. Very well done. If there was a yellow
Oh
corner,
yeah, that's gorgeous.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's a great photo. So let me see the white balance. See, the white balance is already set. It took me 3 clicks to retouch that photo. Let's see what we got. This is way too underexposed. I mean, you know, I can open up the shadows. But you see, I would never take a photo where you have all these people. This is violating the definition of composition. You know, I would.
So how do you avoid that, Serge? What's your best advice if you want to get this?
I would. Okay, let me show you. First, let me retouch that photo a little bit, just really quick. I'm gonna put some sunset light into it. Boom. You know, I would zoom in. I would crop it. I would zoom in on the part where there is no people. I would zoom in on this part. You know, do something there. You know, you're trying to tell a story. You know,
right?
You want to tell a message.
Right.
But I don't know, I would have composed it directly. It's just the way he shot it. I mean, okay, that's not a bad photo, but okay, now that's way overexposed, you know, and you know how you see, if you lower the exposure and you see you're not getting back anything, you see, you know, I'm bringing down the exposure, it's still grayish. This is too overexposed. There's no way you can do something about it. That's kind of nice, but I would have never shot during the day. This is a crime. You come to Paris, you look at Notre Dame, and you took it in the afternoon. It's a crime. Okay, that same photo at sunset, my friend, would be so much better. But because it's you and because it's now, I'm going to turn it into a beautiful black and white because I can. You know, I have this saying, if there's no great colors, just go black and white. You know, I would do something like this in black and white to make it like a stunning black and white photo. Boom, 2 clicks. Okay, what else? People are sending me photo from Paris. That's very nice. Ooh, this is already retouched, but this, I can tell right away. You see, it's very muddy. It's too underexposed. And also, this is not nice. The whole photo is too underexposed. Yeah, it's already retouched. 2 seconds, 7.1. I would have done 4 seconds on this one, at least. 4 to 5 seconds. You get better water. And then even if you have to HDR it, because when it's muddy like this, it means it's too underexposed. What is that? That's this one is also too underexposed. Same, yeah, it's from the same person. So you see, if I put up the shadows or I boost the whites, I almost get nothing. It's just too underexposed, you know.
Oh dear, Artie had a problem with his account. Artie, email support@photoserge.com. Patrick will help you right now. Support@photoserge.com.
Okay, so on this one, I'm going to add a lot of blue and a lot of magenta to kill the green. But you see, it's too underexposed. It's too noisy. Although, you see, that's interesting. You see, the guy was at 100 ISO, but it's super noisy. And that's because he was too underexposed. You should have taken 4-second exposure. And this is not a nice foreground element. This, I would have moved, maybe take that couple as a foreground element or just that little thing here. This is, I like that, you know, but we need to crop out all this, you know. And yeah, just too underexposed photo. So guys, we're only taking 25 people this morning. We have a few spots left. If you have any ways of coming and showing me your work and be part of this Facebook Academy, you're welcome. You're going to get an invitation within 24 hours. And voila, I can't wait to see your work. You know, I can tell you, I know that $299 is money, but it's the lowest I can make. You know, I have a 7-man company who takes care of this academy. And so you know, from hosting to everything. And so we have a lot going on. $299 is the cheapest I could make. If you have any ways of, you know, doing this, it's going to make a difference in your life as a photographer. I promise you. And if not, I'll give you the money back. Woo! I like this photo. A lot of spots in the sky, but that's fine. This is a sunset, definitely. So I'm going to use a sunset linear normal. Let's see, how sharp is this photo? Oh, it's all blurry. It's all blurry. Is this sharp? Yeah, the whole photo is blurry. Ooh, I cannot retouch blurry photos. Next. Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful sunset. Check this out. Look at this. Are you ready? Boom.
Nice.
Boom, boom, boom. And it's not. So the problem is that when you use my preset with portrait photo, you have to turn around it's a little, not a bag, but it's a a feature that you have. So you have to basically, they don't want to turn around. Okay, when you erase this, and you have to redo them. Redo the circle, because now on this one, this is a late sunset.
Hey, real quick, Serge, just quickly, Jason F wants to know the exact process of getting one of the 25 slots. Jason, you need to click, we're almost done here. So you need to click the button that I just, excuse me, let me send that out one more time. All panelists and attendees. The link is the bit.ly link. If you look, it says special $2.99, and all you have to do is click that link. It will take you directly to the purchase page. You know, we're only going to be going for a few more minutes here, but if you are passionate about taking your art, your photography to the next level, now is the time to do it. This is an absolutely insane deal, because not only do you get all of the training, you get mentorship with Serge, you get the entire group that's going to give you support and build you up, and you're going to master your craft in weeks and months instead of years and years.
Yes.
We have a question. How do I access the webinar free offer? I've requested it, but not sure how to find it. Many thanks. Again, so if you look above in the chat window, there's the Facebook sign up, free sign up, and then there's a direct link. You can just go download it. So if you are still waiting on the email or something, you just want to grab it quickly, just click the direct link button. Below that is the special $2.99. And we're going to be wrapping up here in just a second. And let us know if you have any questions. If I missed anything at the beginning, you had a question, make sure you ask it again in case I missed it. But we'll be happy to answer those for you for just a few more minutes before we close this deal.
Yes, absolutely. And so, yeah, because we're almost, let me see, blah, blah, blah. Complete pack. I think we're almost done with the 25. So you must, go fast, fast, fast. Okay. All right, let me just retouch a couple of more. This is already, see, that's a JPEG. I cannot do anything with a JPEG. That's a cool shot. I like it, but it's already retouched. You see, you got to send me raw files if you want me to retouch. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. Okay, I want to show you photos from last week also. Anyway, 5 more minutes. I'm going to retouch a couple of more photos from you guys. And let's see. Last week I retouched this one. Look at that. Let me show you the before. And that's just using one click for my preset. And I didn't shoot this photo. That's, that's the before. Okay, after. Pretty cool. You got to check out my presets, anyways. So what else? This is, I like the light, but there's too much element. You see, the hardest thing that we have in photography is to find a cool subject, but also make sure there's not too much elements, I would never take a photo like this during the day. I like the reflection, but the light is horrible. This is kind of cool. This is not, the light is not amazing, but on this one I would use my day preset. And by the way, if you have any question, now is a good time to ask. Look at that, boom, my day preset, and it's probably a drone shot. Oh, it's a DNG. What was this? I wonder how he shot this. Let me see. If I go to the library module, I can see what camera he's been using. Copyright status. Oh, yeah, DJI. Yes, it's a drone shot. It's a drone shot. It's beautiful. It's a drone raw file. But you see one click from the preset. And this is not my photo, guys. This is not my photo. Look at this. I think this was the before. And this was the after. Now, it's not me who retouched it, but somebody else. Look at this. Talk about a beautiful before and after. You really rock and rolled it.
That's gorgeous.
Okay.
Danny says, Serge, strange, the overexposed picture was already retouched. Why did he come over in his original overexposed? Not sure what that means. I'm not sure. Why did he came over in his original overexposed? I'm not sure what the actual question is.
I don't know. That's a cool shot. Unfortunately, it was taken in the afternoon, but I can always apply one of my day preset. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Ready?
Boom. And it already looks way cooler. It's a nice shot. It's a nice shot. I just need to crop at that stop sign. You see, there is a rule in photography. It's called police border. You have to look at all the around your photo, and you see that stop sign here that's half in and out. Boom, it's out of here. I think I want to focus more on the car, so I'm going to take out some of that ground here and maybe just make it a little more panoramic. And boom. Also, what I would do on this one is I would add a little gradient, another gradient here. I'm going to take the gradient that's already there, make it stronger, and make it lower so that the sand does not has a different variation of light, you know. And because there's a lot of clouds on this one, I think on this one I'm going to do a minus clarity in the sky to diffuse the clouds even more. And I'm going to dodge the photo with a brush. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to underexpose a little bit this photo, a little bit, and I'm going to relight it with a brush like a painter. You know, and like I like the texture here. And I'm first doing it too much, but I'm painting on where I want the eyes to go. And on that cactus, maybe that's kind of cool. You know, maybe, yeah, that little thing there. And then, so I'm overdoing it at first. And then I'm at 0.83. I'm going to go under 0.50, you know, like 0.43. And voila. Okay, let me show you the before photo. That's the before, and that's the after. And wow. It's a daylight photo. It would have been a lot better during, you know, at sunrise. Let's see here. What else we got here?
Yeah, and for those of you who are still on the fence and haven't made the commitment yet, realize that you're going to be getting not only all of the training, but as Serge was talking about earlier, like this is the stuff that matters, the feedback, when you can have a photo, take a photo and share it with the group and get that feedback and really understand the processes Serge is showing you right now. Everything Serge is showing you right now can be referenced throughout the entire program easily and efficiently anytime you need it. Like that's the thing. Like a lot of times, you know, you feel like you have to come to this live event and you know, you really want to see your photo up here and be retouched. And that's great. And Serge has a blast doing it. I think the most important thing to recognize here when you're thinking about taking your photography to the next level, the ability to do that while being supported and mentored by those people on a consistent basis is just absolutely going to change the way you look at your photography.
Yes. And this is a kind of a blue hour photo. I'm trying to find the right preset for it. I think this, and yeah, that's a nice photo. That's a nice photo.
Matt wants to know, is Luminar still in your workflow? And if so, how much? Do they have anything new coming out this year?
Oh yeah, they have a lot of stuff, and it's totally covered in my workflow course. Absolutely, Luminar is totally part of my workflow, and it's all in my workflow course. All right, guys, time is up. So we'll give it, if you're still seeing this offer on YouTube, we'll leave it on. We have a couple of spots left. We're going to leave on the offer. The link is going to be still valid on YouTube, so you can grab it. And voila. Any last words, Michael?
No, I just wanted to say that we've got some amazing new photographers who we're welcoming into the Academy and training course. So just welcome to those of you who stepped in, who took action. For those of you who didn't and are just not sure, it's a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you absolutely will not be disappointed. This is an amazing offer, and Serge, thank you for sharing it.
No problem, guys. I can't wait to see you on the Academy. I'm going to go right now on the Academy and start, you know, finishing the challenge that we have going on. And yeah, I want to see your work. If you have any possibility, we're going to leave this open for a couple of minutes. Grab it before it goes away. Thank you so much. And I will see you in one of my videos on YouTube, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.